I was about to be like, oh, okay, time to turn this music off soon. And then it's like, oh wait, technically not. So it'd be probably weird-ish to sit. I guess it's something we just sit in silence, but anyway, let me switch this over. Yeah, okay, yeah, that's not working. It's fine. I'm gonna turn this down a little bit more though. And I also need a different Firefox window from the Gila. Oh god, here's itchy too. That's not helpful. But, yeah, so. I know one thing I'd already mentioned about doing was making the thumbnails for, what do you call it? Okay, starting thumbnails rather for the 2 games that are in the poll right now. Even though last time I looked, I think Yakuza Kiwami 2 had more votes. There's a really specific image I'm looking for though, and I don't know how easy it'll be to find it. Or how easy it'll be to find it without the text specifically. I can find it with text. Oh shit, is that? I do not have that plugin on this computer. Shit. It's plugging. Alright, extension, whatever, same idea. I also like how Firefox now does not require you to restart the fucking thing if you install a add-on. Because it used to do that back in the day, so it would have been like, oh yeah, okay, now I'm gonna close the window I have open for, what do you call it? YouTube. We'll take this and reverse search it. Reverse search and then hope that Google actually gives me good fucking results. That's the original. I don't need that. Is this technically the right picture, I think? Yes, it is. Now the real question is, can I grab the... Oh, actually, no, it would help is if it's stretching the whole damn thing. Oh, fuck. There we go. I was like, what the hell is up with this thing being like, oh yeah, we can't find anything for that. This genius stuff. I think it might be just more efficient with using version with text, but then like kind of removing the text or whatever shit. We'll come back to it later, don't worry. This probably should be done first since I actually loaded all the pictures up in it. I'm just gonna use this one. I can do so without it looking weird. I'm trying to remember what does my shit usually hide? Not a whole lot per se. That's unfortunate. I suppose just zooming in won't be too bad. Like, the whole thing already looks like shit, so is it really an issue if the thumbnail also looks kind of iffy, so to speak? I have to duplicate this so I have the influence go back to. There, that's probably efficient enough for my use. Which actually reminds me, this is kind of funny, the only reason why I know this initially is because someone had mentioned it Tuesday, that YouTube's like, oh, we'll just let you like test and compare thumbnails yourself now, directly on YouTube itself. Which, for people who use that, it's like, oh, cool, great, I don't have to actually do it manually anymore type of thing. And then for someone like me who doesn't even use it, it's just kind of like, okay. But it's also funny, I don't know if it's just YouTube has recognized that I don't really do it, or it's just like slow rollout. Because there was a thing on the front page of YouTube Studio today mentioning it, and then it's just like, that's great. I actually do not see that option still on my own shit, which is kind of funny. It's like, ah, here's a thing you can do now. It's like, not me, but okay. Half of me doesn't even want to edit this past this image. Just like, yeah, this is good enough. Did I even have... No, actually I wouldn't have. So to be like, do I even have like an original version of this thing? But no, I don't. But yeah, the other thing too, I guess, like with that thumbnail testing idea, it's like, does it matter if you are live streaming in a sense? Because that seems more like something that would be more relevant if you are posting normal videos. Just because YouTube Shorts doesn't let you edit the thumbnail anyway, unless you're uploading it through your phone. And then even then, it only lets you pick it when you're uploading. It doesn't actually let you do it after. And then yeah, live streams I don't think actually end up mattering too much. It's just kind of like a give this really shitty file name, why not? And then hope that Photoshop actually recognizes I'm trying to save something. Thank you. Oh, let's gonna move to this there. Cause this, I was like thinking of this release earlier for some reason, so it's just like, oh yeah, switch to that later, easy done. I just realized I didn't reset this. Even though I don't remember what the hell I had that gray color for. I probably should just write it down somewhere. Preferably not in that color though. Let's see. There. Yeah, there's not a whole lot more I can do with this. Also, not a whole lot more I care to do with it. I might as well just save that. Switch this back to black for a bit. I wish this kind of had a way to like save like what do you call it? Presets in a sense. That wasn't just like, you know, open a fucking PSD file where it's like, this is the only thing that has to be done on it. I also should have the other one. So 20. Let's see. You know what also sucks is it's fucking bullshit weather again. Like, conveniently, it's like, yeah, Thursday? No, you get to die from heat. Enjoy. Like, okay, thank you. Why would you do this? Okay, let me see here. Cheshire. I like how that's almost what I want, but I want the other half too. God damn it. Let me put this on the other computer though. Just so I'm not accidentally killing my hard drive space on this one. I suppose worst case scenario, just having one of the two characters is fine, but it's just like, yeah, I kind of wanted it with the redo of the original Yakuza art or whatever. And it's just like, yeah, gonna give you like pieces of it, but we won't give you the whole image. Enjoy. Actually, while I get this open, I can actually find the other thing I need. Yeah. Not that folder though. And then also very helps if I actually save everything in like the right spots. Whatever, it's fine. Actually, I also know one thing right off the top of my head. for Yakuza Kiwami 2, because there was an image I took like while testing shit like a few months back, which is like, yeah, very much going to use like a picture I would have taken during that time frame as a thumbnail. No, that's not the right thing. Okay, I don't think I'm finding the image that I want, which is unfortunate. Oh. I will deal with it, I guess. Oh, actually, I didn't think about it. It's I hope you have to find it looking in English, but can you find it if you look in Japanese? No. It's... whatever, it's fine. This makes this slightly awkward for trying to do this thing I was gonna do with this shit. It's fine. Also just realized tomorrow I still have this up. If I can get to it easily enough. Okay, I can. Here it is. Not that. There. Oh, okay. Now YouTube has actually finally given me the freaking test and compare thing. So now if I look on thumbnail, it's like upload file, use auto-generated, or test and compare. It's like, bruh. Couldn't have put that there for like 20-30 minutes earlier. Where is... Oh, there it is. Yeah, I'll save that, that's fine. Yeah, I should just want to check if I go back to it, if it gives me... Okay, it'll just give you the drop down menu, it's close enough. But, yeah, actually let me see right now. Okay, right now on the, yeah, poll that was posted, what, last Thursday? No, last Saturday, sorry. Yeah, I can see Yakuza Kiwami right now has, Yakuza Kiwami 2 rather, has more votes. RIP. Only saying RIP just because it's like, hopefully this PC doesn't like lose its shit. Actually, you know what? Let me see something here. I like how uncooperative this is, so it's like, oh, just drag and drop something onto the screen, and I'm just like, okay, sure, and then it ignores it and just opens it as a file. It's like, thank you. That's exactly what I wanted. That's the original one. Yeah. Let's see this. It's not helpful. Yeah. Let's see what. Yeah, just put away. Mostly just because I'm like hearing it and I'm like, why does this seem like it's still too loud to me? The background music. Even though I think. Okay, actually, it's not apparently that loud. What is... No, I'll just use this. Actually, is there a way... No, this does not have a repeat album option. There's repeat playlist and repeat track, which is like, I definitely don't want repeat track, that's just gonna be annoying as shit. I'm surprised that repeat an album is not an option. Yeah, whatever, it's fine. What's the size of this thing? Okay, yeah, way more than what I need. Control A. Also this is under that there. Yeah. Might go around checking later if I can find one that has the Ryuji half of the shit, but if not, it's like, meh, whatever. We'll just deal with Kiryu only thumbnail, I guess. Just basically looking for that, but with him and Ryuji present. And it's just like, yeah, if you want one without text, you're basically getting it from the original version of that game, not Kiwami 2. Make sure that's saved right. Also, just showing like how high tier high tier lazy some of these fucking are. It's just like, yeah, take default-ish image and use it, and then actually make them like somewhat unique afterwards. I think that was something else I was working on before. Yeah. It's wrong window, thank you. Kind of, yeah. Absolute mess when you're just going through windows and then it's like, oh wait, shit, that's the wrong one. I guess it doesn't matter if it's not visible, but yeah. I'm trying to think of what else was worth. Oh yeah, right. Rather slightly unfortunate, but also I guess not, depending on who you are. Where it's just like, oh yeah, here you go, you finally get a Nintendo Direct this week. And then watch it and it's like, oh, okay. At least for me, I was just like, there's one thing that stood out to me and I'm like, given that it has no actual like proper release date except for next year, it's like, I don't know if that's gonna be something I'm thinking about once it actually comes out or whatever. The only other two things I remember specifically, one being the new Zelda game where it's like, oh my god, it's finally another Zelda game where you play as instead of as Link, and it's like, goddamn, took like fucking, I don't know how long for that. When the hell did the other one come out, actually? Apparently... 1996. Jesus. Wait, is this one? Let's see. Oh no, never mind. Yeah, okay, last one was 1996, but one before that in 1993, so that is a way ass long time to finally be like, yeah, you can play as her now, have fun. I'm not really counting either, like, something like Hyrule Warriors per se, where you could literally use her and a bunch of others. It's just like, no. I'm like, it specifically only Zelda as your player character. It took that long. Like almost 30 years. basically. And then also, actually, I think even worse on top of that, not only is it like almost 30 years, but then it's like half of what it showed that you do as her is just like, okay, so we can't actually like go beat the shit out of people as Zelda. That's unfortunate. And then the other thing I remember standing out, mostly just because of IRL friends and such, when they announced that Marvel vs. Capcom collection or whatever. Especially with some of what's included with it, it's just like, oh, okay. Games that people have been wanting re-released for a while now, it's like, yeah, you can finally have them. I think it's also just weird that they decided to wait for a Nintendo Direct to announce something like that, rather than just throwing it into like something else. Since at least the Zelda case makes sense, because it's like its first party game. But, yeah. Other than that, I was just kind of like, oh, okay. Stuff's coming out. Meh. What am I looking at right now? Yeah. Yeah, I should probably just close this tab. Fucking someone posted a video, someone sticking ice cream in ramen. Like, nah man, don't do that. Let's see here. Actually, I just kind of reminded myself the fact that last year played Idol Manager, I think around this time of the year. And then just like, because I'm so bad at it where it kept getting bankrupt, it's just like, yeah, okay, well I guess we're not spending another stream on this. Because getting the other endings, good fucking luck. I don't think I actually went back either to try to do other endings on it. It's just like, yeah, I'll deal with bankrupt ending. It's fine. It's finished enough for me. I wonder if I should find something else for Until Dawn other than the picture I grabbed. Oh. Actually, plus if I type correctly. But, you know what, maybe I'll just leave that one for later or something. Especially if, what's it called, if the poll that's up right now anyway stays the same over the next, like, couple of days, then I'm not gonna actually need a thumbnail for Until Dawn until probably a month and a half from now. At least if, actually, yeah, good idea to compare. I know Yakuza Kiwami was only like a month or so to do. Yakuza Kiwami 2. Okay, yeah. it doesn't suck so much. Also helps if I don't have myself muted. Now I don't know what the fuck I was saying before I was like unmuted. Probably just easier just to repeat myself possibly then. But I was saying it's like yeah, Yakuza Kiwami 2 should only take like a month and a half to do. When you factor in doing like something extra, because from my understanding, it should have the cabaret minigame, and between 0 and Kiwami 2, I would imagine they probably refined it at least to enough an extent that it might not be as, I don't want to say tedious, but like any issues that would have existed with the one in 0, I would think are gone in Kiwami 2. What's it called? And I think half the problem too, actually from Zeroes anyway, was like the fact that you had to go around and actually like partner up with places. If that's not a thing in Kiwami 2, that's like a good amount of time already saved. But yeah, for general base story completion, both of them look to be about the same. So it's just like, oh, okay. Probably don't have to get through a whole lot per se. So I think they don't get into like really ridiculous time frames ish until 5. Let's see, Yakuza 3. Yakuza 3 is apparently even shorter than Kiwami and Kiwami 2. Yakuza 4 is just slightly longer. Yakuza 5 is actually a decently kinda oof with 36 hours apparently. 6 is the same as Kiwami and Kiwami 2. And how much was 7? 7 was apparently 46 hours. So yeah. Actually, I think that also works out, because let me see. Start on the 22nd. Let's say it's a month and a half. So a month would be 20. So we say August 10th. How long is... Oh, apparently Until Dawn's like actually short. But I was thinking like, oh, okay, that might actually be a fairly decently like, how the fuck do I phrase this? Like, might be just enough to like get to October without like accidentally going into October while doing something. Just because October 1st, I do actually specifically want. Actually, I guess it wouldn't be October 1st, would it? Yeah, because October 1st is on Tuesday, so it'd be October 3rd. Sorry. But yeah, basically once that month starts, I'm just like, yeah, specifically playing something that's specific for this month. But yeah, if Until Dawn is actually pretty short. And then Yakuza Kiwami 2, like I said, should take like about a month and a half at most. Probably would actually be feasible to do Yakuza 3 and then, what do you call it? Do Yakuza 3 and then move to Alan Wake 2 in October. And then worst case scenario, if there's like anything that needs to be filled in during that time, it's like, well, I can definitely think of shit to throw in there. Because there's like a couple of games that I had forgotten that I have sitting around where it's like, okay, these are short, so they won't actually take that long to get through. One of them being Melatonin, that I keep forgetting that I have it, and then it's just like, oh yeah, right, that's a game, shit. And then yeah, there's a bunch of other smaller games sitting around. Though I'm also realizing by doing like what I'm thinking of out loud right now, it's like, yeah, okay, you're probably not getting through the rest of the Like a Dragon series this year. Because even if it's like, okay, do Kiwami 2, then play something in between those, do Yakuza 3, because of October already being like specifically assigned to something, it'd be like, yeah, well, there's still 4, 5, and 6 to get through. And it's like, shit. Though this is I probably shouldn't say this, but I feel like 3 and 4 are the two I'm looking forward to the least in the series. Number 5, I think, is the next one after Kiwami 2, where I'm probably gonna be like, oh yeah, this should be some good shit. And 6, I also have at least some slight interest in, just because I know some of the more sillier fucking sub-stories it seems to have. Probably in part because of the fact that it's like more recent. Oh my god. Also, a friend of mine has actually finally started playing through the series. And I can see the achievements that they've gotten so far, and it's just like, oh boy. Rather their achievements specifically for Zero, because they're starting with that one. Which, yeah. Like, it was rich. I think I had mentioned it actually when that particular person was in chat last time, or something. Where it's just like, yeah, people tell you to start at 0, and 0 is realistically the spot you should start at if you want story order. It's just that, I think for me at least, and I think I've seen at least one other person at least have the same kind of thought of like, if you play 0, but then you play the first game, whether it be the original or Kiwami, it just kind of, especially actually I think if it's Kiwami, it just kind of feels like there's something lost there. And I think for Kiwami specifically, it's just because of the fact that it's like, you could have improved on stuff that existed in 0 since it uses the same engine, and then it's just like, nah, you get the same. Same thing, have fun. And then I think if you were to play the original version of the first one, at least for what I've gotten through of it, I think the problem is more so that because the original doesn't flesh out Nishiki nearly as much as Yakuza Kiwami does, it's like you basically play 0 and then go to that one and you'd be like, okay, why is this guy now being like a complete asshole? Just, 10 years later, oh yeah, go fuck yourself, buddy. don't want to deal with you anymore. Basically how Nishiki kind of like comes off towards Kiryu if you don't have the extra context. But yeah. Then again, I suppose they've also done that in more recent shit too, where it's like, excuse me, we're missing some context here, what the hell? Mostly, I think mostly just between 7/Gaiden and 8, where it's just like, can you explain to me how the fuck Ichiban knows what Kiryu's name is now, all of a sudden? Because he doesn't get introduced properly. Or like the two don't get introduced properly, so to speak, in 7, and Gaiden doesn't add anything to imply that that actually happened. And like the closest thing that happens is just like the person who's about to tell Ichiban is just like told to shut the fuck up. So yeah, I guess I shouldn't be too surprised, but yeah. What is this? Oh, it is on last check. I don't know why I thought it was on something else. What's this shit? Let me look at this shit now. Okay, it's not that bad. Also realizing something I'm gonna have to do next month is replace the 2 fans I removed out of this computer. Because just because this was one that I had built myself type of thing. And the case itself only had 3 fans with it, 2 in the front and 1 in the back, which is what it's using right now. But there was like a heatsink that a friend had told me to buy, and I got it, and then when I was like trying to put it in, I just like was already too annoyed at other shit. So the second I had any amount of trouble with it, I was just like, no, fuck this, I'm out. And so I basically had put it in my closet, but then I realized like, wait though, can I like put the 2 fans that are with it, because they have to be attached manually to the main part of it to begin with. I was just kind of like, oh, what if I just put these in my case in like the top, the area where like 2 top fans would go. And so I did that. Basically because of the fact that they're not meant to screw into anything, they're supposed to clip onto the heatsink or whatever. I basically went and used zip ties to attach it to the actual case. And it's like, okay, yeah, no, it holds up properly and shit. And just plug it into the motherboard and it's like, oh, great, now I got 2 extra fans. Thank you. Actually, not move here. But yeah, basically had that, so, but because of the, heatsink in my partner's computer, because it's the computer I was actually using before this one, actually dying, which 5 years is actually not the worst for something to die in, I would argue, so it's kind of whatever, to me at least. But it's like, oh, okay, have to replace that, and then what I was originally going to replace it with, turns out that was already dead, so it's like, oh, okay, well, I can either use the thing that is currently in my computer, or take out like those 2 extra fans and then put that whole thing together. And the heatsink that I technically have in this computer, I say heatsink, in this case is actually just like a small ass fan, because it's just like the default fan you get with some of the Intel GPU or CPUs rather. And it's just like, yeah, okay, well that doesn't fit into the other motherboards, so that kind of leaves me with only one option. So it's just like, okay, back to only having 3 fans, and it's not the worst. But my CPU in particular is especially like much higher temperature than normal because of it. It used to run, I think with 2 extra fans, it would usually run, I want to say like maybe 60 Celsius-ish at its hottest. And then right now it's like going between like high 70s, low 80s, which is nearing the like, that's not particularly great type of point. And then GPU also was, my GPU is also running slightly cooler, but the way that I have that specifically set up, it's managing to keep itself kind of fine anyway. It's actually not that warm right now. Somehow, it's not that warm. Actually, I also just realized what's probably not helping the CPU temperature-wise is the fact that I use it for streaming. Like, just because the integrated graphics on it are technically its own GPU, at least within like what do you call it, task manager and such. I'm just like, well, instead of actually using like the actual GPU in here to try to encode streaming shit, why don't I just use that so it's not sitting there doing nothing? And then it's just kind of like, oh yeah, right, that actually would make it have to work harder then. It's like, while streaming. Which, yeah. But for the most part though, it just kind of reminds me like, yeah, probably should actually get 2 extra fans to replace the ones that were taken out. I don't even remember if that's actually particularly easy to do or not. It probably is. Let's see. Oh, yeah, okay. Actually, looking at this shit, I probably could just do this after stream now that I think about it. I don't know why I thought fans would be more expensive than this shit. Oh, it's fine. And then also, basically will then just be like, okay, when will I not be too lazy to fucking put them in properly? Because that's almost, I feel like that's usually more the issue. It's just like, okay, got this relevant piece, now am I too lazy to put it in or what? Especially when, yeah, depending on how much you have to like take apart to do it in the first place, it's like, what the... But, yeah. feel like that's also a thing just in general, not even with like PC parts, but other things too, where you're just like, oh, okay, I got this thing, I have to set it up. Oh shit, do I actually want to take the time to do that right now? And then half the time the answer is like, no, I'll wait. And then take like a month later, oh, I should probably do that now, huh? So I know there's at least like 2 other things I could think of. I know one of them is not entirely like, oh, too lazy to set this up, but part of it's also like, I have to figure out how to set up the thing in question with how the rest of my current setup is. Also was confused for a second because I was looking this way and then I just see something moving out of the corner of my eye and it's like, oh, it's just one of the bunnies. Just floating around behind me. Do I even want to do anything else thumbnail-wise? Probably not. It doesn't... God damn it. It doesn't help that it legit is like... bullshit weather right now. What the hell is the temperature? It feels... oh god, Jesus Christ. Feels like 28 degrees Celsius. That's perfect, thank you. Saturday apparently should be a bit better. But, Jesus Christ. I think it's more so just my annoyance that it's like... it was okay-ish for most of the week, and then just Thursday, it's just today, it's like, no, fuck you. So even Monday actually was fine. And then, yeah. I'm trying to think if there's anything else for you. Or... oh yeah, and then I actually, one thing I remember from last stream, so I was mentioning like, I was mentioning of like, oh yeah, I might not, well, I guess I'm not really bothering with it a whole lot to begin with, but I was like, oh yeah, thinking in my head like, oh yeah, like, doing fan sub related stuff, I'm just kind of like, eh. And then, then coincidentally, like, some point after, Monday stream-ish, was the 18th? Okay, I guess it was like the day after rather-ish. Was it? Yeah, okay, it was the day after. Has someone ping me like, could you look into this thing? And I'm just like, sure. It's something I was gonna look at anyway, because it's just like, something I wanted, like, something, it's like all the release information for the Kata single that's supposed to be coming out next month. And I was just like, well, I was already gonna look at it, so if someone else is asking me to do so, then yeah, I guess, question mark. And then coincidentally, you know, post all the shit, and then it's like, meh. Granted, I also didn't actually ping that person to tell them I posted it, so that probably doesn't help. I should actually do that. I was gonna say I should probably do that right now, but I was like, is that normal to just be like, here, let me reply to like some tweet during stream? I'll write it down now. Just so I don't forget about it. So I've been meaning to go through a bunch of stuff on Twitter, and then I didn't. I probably, you know what, actually, I suppose if not much is going on right now, it's not gonna hurt if I actually do shit right now. Also, half my stuff's not even logged in, but that's its own whole issue, other issue. Let's see here, that, actually, wait, now I think about it. Especially since I know where I can find this. I don't think... I was gonna say, did they ever show... Oh, they did show the photo card design, so I guess that's also a thing. Rip. Not things. Helps if I word my shit right. Actually, I suppose it should be like future. There we go. That's sufficient enough. Just like, yeah, here you go. Post if you need them. The awkward feel of, you know, replying to someone while it's like, oh, I'm streaming right now. But at the same time, it's kind of like, well, I'm not doing a whole lot else, so I don't think it's the worst thing. feel like it'd be different if it's like, okay, to pay attention to like a number of things and then also doing something unrelated on the side. Also keep meaning to switch my pinned tweet back to the what do you call it? There's like a picture I posted like years and years ago. And I forget why the hell it even got assigned to me, but basically what it was is like Twitter was like, oh, I want to do a survey about like site experience or whatever shit, and I was just like, yeah, I guess, whatever. It's not really gonna waste a whole lot of my fucking time. And there was specifically one of the questions. Actually, I can just find the picture at least pretty easily. Please describe Twitter in just one word. And the one word I gave them was shitposting. Actually, you know what? I think I can switch it from here, right? Yes, I can. Into my profile. There, done. The god tier really stupid shitpost is back there. Here. Does this have the emoji I'm looking for? Probably not. I probably should be looking through this list. Where is the... Uh-oh. There. Okay, so apparently person just didn't see that shit from the other night. Oh, that's fine. Sometimes you just need to be like, here's thing you asked for. But, yeah. It's like one of the few things that I just hadn't posted like eons ago where I'm just like, every time I see that fucking screenshot, which was like, describe Twitter in just one word, I'm like, yes. Shitposting is the only word that belongs there. Which parents I don't even remember when the fuck I would have originally done that. I think it was like 2017 or something. So it's like really old. Also kind of sucks-ish that Twitter is still like used so much. Because, like, if I could, I would literally just ditch it already and be solely on Blue Sky out of the two, instead of having to go between both. Because, yeah, there's like a downside, I guess, realistically, on both ends. Where Twitter is just like, the place has been going to shit for like years, the last like few years now. And then Blue Sky is fine in the points where Twitter is not, but because it's kind of like a combination of finding people is a lot harder, unless you're like really going out of your way to like search for people and stuff. And then even then, I noticed that some people who actually did bother to make accounts there maybe used them for like a whole 2 minutes before just being like, yeah, okay, bye. Which, yeah. But I feel like that's probably a step in the right direction of like, here's how I actually feel about using Twitter. Don't even have a pinned post with like other links or whatever. It's just like, no, it's just this one shit post. You can enjoy that now. Or enjoy it, I guess, easier, because it's right there. I guess it's also that and the fact that I just don't use it for... What the hell do I want to say? Like, I don't really use it for VTubing related stuff to begin with. So just on that premise alone, it's like, what's it really matter if something like YouTube or Twitch or whatever is linked there in like an easy to find spot? When it's like, I don't really promote that shit anyway on there. Which probably isn't a good thing, but it's also... Oh, maybe other people have this issue? And maybe others not so much, but it's just like, when it comes to like self-promotion in general, it's just like, no. It's... I feel like it's one thing if you kind of do it on two things that are kind of related. So like, if you're on Twitch, for example, and you're like, oh, okay, yeah, I also have a YouTube channel if you want to go follow it, or vice versa. Because it's, especially like right now, where it's like, in my case, I'm streaming on both. So it's not really as, I guess, weird to me. But then if it's like, you know, post on like Twitter or Blue Sky, even just something like, oh, going like live right now, doing like this thing, or even just, not even just that, but even posting like stream schedules. The only places that I have actually posted those to are, in the case of the picture form ones, those have only been on YouTube, and then on Twitch I have like specifically a Google Calendar embedded that I just, somehow, I managed to keep it updated. But basically that's like the only two places where you get anything of the sort. I have kind of been considering it over the last like maybe day or two of like, oh yeah, I probably should switch like that offline banner thingy on Twitch, so that instead of it being like a shitpost picture like it is right now, it's preferably not Halloween music right now, but so that instead of it being a shitpost picture, it's actually like, oh, okay, here's like a general schedule guideline, because Thursdays and Saturdays are pretty much like, unless I post something on YouTube, it's basically like, if it's a Thursday or a Saturday, I would be streaming at normal time. And then the only other day that I usually, the only other 2 days where I will sometimes stream is either Sunday or Monday. And Sunday is usually just if like a Splatoon 3 event is happening, just because those end on Sundays for me. If I don't stream it like whatever Saturday night is, I will generally push it so that it is like Sunday at least like 2 to 3 hours before whatever it is ends. That's the only time though for Sundays at least, and then Monday, just every so often it's like, oh okay, yeah, you know what? I'll do a stream on this particular date. Why not? And usually those, yeah, the only way to really know of them is if you happen to see schedule post, or if you happen to check YouTube at a time where like the waiting room for it is like already visible, type of thing, if that makes sense. But yeah, I almost guarantee it is probably at least partially detrimental to me, the fact that I just like don't post schedules, YouTube/Twitch links, etc. on like other places, but I'm just like, it feels too weird to fucking do that. Just, yeah. Yeah. I don't. That's not so I don't pull my hair while I'm trying to like get shit into it. Or like have it not be like knotted up or something. What the? Oh yeah, yeah, I guess this happened like 10 days ago. I know I mentioned it before. The fact that Splatoon 2 now does not have Plaza posts. Also, actually, that reminds me, I probably should be checking the, what do you call it? Nintendo Switch Online thingy soon. So they've had a bunch of Splatoon 3 stuff on for the last 2 weeks, and I think Thursday is the day that they switch stuff over. Or Friday. There's Thursday or Friday, one of the two. Because one of the things that they had was a part of an icon thing you could use with dead fish on it, and I was just like, okay, well, time to switch my Nintendo account avatar. And now it just has them on it instead of Little Buddy like it's had for the last probably close to a year-ish. Also the fact that freaking what do you call it? Oh my god, what was I gonna say? Oh yeah, there's also the what do you call it? The fact that you can't post to Twitter anymore directly off of a Switch either. Thankfully, transferring stuff to like a phone is not that hard, or transferring stuff even like using a USB cord to connect to a computer is also not that hard. But still just like, oh okay. The only reason why I remember that is just because Yeah, I was gonna say, I think the most recent post I had to make, yeah, the one of like, am I the only one who doesn't like summer? It's just like I had to actually transfer that off to my phone first. Instead of just opening up the Switch and being like, okay, yeah, post this and done. It's kind of weird though because they removed a few other like social media link type things, but you can still post directly specifically to Facebook through it, and it's just like, why? Does anyone actually use that? Like, at least the Twitter one, it's like it made sense, and then it also makes sense why they removed it. But it's just like, does anyone fucking post to Facebook? Like, I feel like people would be more likely to post whatever the thing in question is to either Instagram or Threads. Especially when you consider the latter is trying to be a Twitter duplicate. So. Actually. Actually reminds me, there's been like a few days over the last like couple of weeks where I've actually looked at Threads and it's just like, well, at least I'm solidifying that I made the right choice of like not really bothering with this a whole lot. Just because it's like, it's not super awful per se. Like, it's not nowhere near like what Twitter is like right now, but it's still just like, oh, I feel like places like that where you're like supposed to be doing stuff like with like super short text posts and stuff is meant mostly like just for shit posting type of stuff, and then just to see like things that contradict that, I guess it's kind of like, oh, okay, well, meh. Because basically most of what I've seen is either a combination, there is a combination of like that, and then artists posting stuff to there, with the artists in question being ones that I also follow, usually somewhere else too. So it's just kind of like, okay, well, I don't have to look at your shit on here when I see it elsewhere. um, whereas, yeah. But that just might also be me. I guess realistically, I don't need this written down anymore too, I just realized. Yeah, because, oh, shit. Also helps if I don't hit the pop filter while trying to put a pen back on my table. I need to actually, like, rearrange some shit. So I'm realizing half the time now, if I'm sitting somewhere and writing in a book, it's usually in here rather than, like, my bedroom or, like, elsewhere. And the drawers that I have, like, most of my stationery stuff in are in my bedroom. So it's just like, okay, well, if I want to, like, use a specific pen or something, I'm basically limited to whatever I have sitting on this desk. When it's like, yeah, I probably should switch that so that all that shit is in here, and then whatever weird nonsense is in, like, the shelves that are in here is put into the ones that are in my bedroom instead. So I know these ones, I know one of them has a bunch of empty books, which is fine. But then I know there's also one of them that just has like boxes upon boxes of batteries, where most of what I use those batteries for is the mouse that I have on my main computer. So it's just like, do I need them in here or there? Probably the latter. Just like, But part of what that needs is, you know, for it to not be like super bullshit temperature in here. Yeah. But yeah, right now, like, where I have most of my pens sitting too, like I just did, hit the pop filter again. But they're sitting in a spot where I can kind of inadvertently hit something that's connected to my microphone, at least very easily. And it's like, you probably don't want that. Especially because, you know, depending on what you hit, it can be like an ever so like slightly minor like meh, who cares type of sound, or it could be something that's just like, oh god, my ears, depending on what it is. But yeah, because like one thing I noticed, I think it's particularly like about an hour or 2 hours before streams, I'll sometimes be like, oh, is this shit that I wanted to like talk about on stream, and then start writing it down. And then, you know, it's either hit or miss on if I actually talk about whatever it is or not. Some of them I don't talk about because it's like, whatever it is that I'm doing kind of like makes it so whatever that is kind of weird to bring up or something, if that makes sense. And in other cases, it's like I'll mention it like ever so slightly and then nothing. Because there was like two things that I had here since, what was the 13th, last week? Yeah, that's definitely last week. I guess one of them wasn't entirely from last week. One of them I think was for, I would have written it down, I think probably before Monday. But the other one I think was there since last week, where it was like, there was a point where I was like looking through shit on YouTube, and then it's like, there's this one person whose stuff will sometimes show up in my recommendations. I don't have an issue with the particular like person, if that makes sense, but it's just like, if it is stuff that is posted to their official channel where it's like stream clips, what I've noticed is that the thumbnail and title of whatever it is will imply one thing, and then it is extremely hit or miss on if that thing is actually in whatever the fuck the clip is. And then usually if it is so far into it that I feel like most people, if they're wanting to watch that particular thing because of what is shown, like either on the thumbnail or going by the title or going by both, they probably would have already just like noped the fuck out already at that point, unless it's like, okay, well, I actually really like this person's shit regardless, so I'll just watch it all the way through anyway. But I can't imagine that's like every single person that clicks on that. It's definitely not me in that case. It's just like, yeah, if you're gonna post like a stream clip, or I guess realistically even a video in general, if you have, it's one thing if the title and thumbnail just kind of accidentally mismatch each other, but at least one of them is like, okay, yeah, this is actually accurate to what the fuck you're about to see. But like, if neither of them are, or if whatever that is like so little of what you posted, it's just like, you should probably just switch those to something else. Even if it's just like, if in the case of the person whose stuff that like kind of brought this to mind in the first place, if it's just like, here, I'm taking a stream of mine and cutting it down to like 10, 15, 20 minutes so that of like the good shit, so to speak. So you don't have to sit through like potentially 2+ hours of stuff. It's like, I feel like even if you just named it like stream highlights from whatever date, or if you even just put that in the title alongside the kind of more misleading parts, so to speak, it wouldn't be as bad. And the only reason why I say like it's not just stream clips too is because I know that there's been like the offhand thing here and there where I've also seen pop up, and it's like the thumbnail and title have nothing to do with what the fuck this just was, and it wasn't a stream clip. It was like someone actually went through, decided to make that as a video, and edit it and everything. It was just like, okay, dude. Sure. Whereas, at least if it's just a case of like someone trying to like make it seem somewhat clickbaity, like it's a tad bit misleading, but it is still overall relevant, then it's like, okay, sure, I guess. Like, I could see some people getting annoyed with it, and then others probably being like, whatever, it's fine. But yeah, just when it's unrelated basically entirely, or it's like so little of whatever it is, it's just like, why? Please fix your shit. Also, I guess kind of makes me feel bad because it's like, just because I've seen that so many times with one person's like official channel, clip-wise, it's just like, okay, so basically what that tells me is if I am interested in ever watching anything from this particular VTuber, just because it is actually a VTuber in this case, then I should either A, just watch their stream archives or watch other people's clips of them. Because whoever is handling the official ones, no, I'm sorry, you're not doing it. all they're doing is effectively just making shit where it's like, at least to me, it's just like, no, that's not gonna do anything. It's a good way to get me to be like, yeah, okay, not watching that, thanks. So that does actually remind me too, though, like when trying to like do clip related stuff myself, it's like I don't want to fall into like exactly what I just noted where it's like it's unrelated. So it's like, ah, shit, how do I title this, or what thumbnail do I put, whatever, where it's like obvious enough, but it's not gonna give away everything right off the bat. Just because I feel like that's the other thing that's like kind of have to be slightly wary about. So I'm trying to think, like, yeah, that was like the main thing recently I've seen bugging me with other people's stuff more so. Because the only other thing I can think of, I think this one I have actually brought up before, where sometimes, like, obviously I can't criticize people who put borders in their thumbnails because I literally do it myself. But it's like when someone specifically tells you to use the color red, and more specifically like the kind of reddish color that's like on the YouTube logo and stuff, it's like, no, don't fucking do it. Because I feel like it's only like a certain percentage of people who remember the fact that like if you watch something, the if you've watched something, I guess realistically, even just to some extent, there'll be like a bar at the bottom of whatever it is, and it will be at least partially, if not entirely, filled in with red, depending on how much you watched of it. So if someone puts a red border on something, like, actually, I can probably get the right red here. It's basically this red. That, well, it probably helps if I actually have it in the border area though. That is just like, it basically hides the thing that tells you that. So it's just like, did I actually watch this already or not? I have no way to fucking tell. The only way you'd be able to tell if you would be able to tell at least if you saw like some of it, because it'd only be like partly filled and then you'd see gray. But otherwise it's just like, well, shit. But, you know, that one I guess is probably not as bad though. Because I feel like at worst with that, it's like you might get someone to watch your video twice, which, depending on what it is, some people would probably be like, you know what, I'm fine with that. Compared to like what I was mentioning a few minutes ago with like, your title and thumbnail are so misleading and basically have nothing to do with what you posted. That's the point where it's like, okay, fuck, someone's probably going to be annoyed, and rightfully so at that point. But yeah, that was one thing I remember having here that I never actually brought up. See, and then the other one was because of a friend's post on Blue Sky, where she was like, I'm having trouble liking things that other people like, where it's like, how's that a problem? Like, as long as you're not actively going out of your way to specifically hate things because either A, because someone else specifically likes it, or B, a bunch of people like it and it's like something popular, then it's just like, who cares? Like, people have preferences. If you don't like a certain game, like, because that was more so the context she was coming from, is there was a game she had been playing that was annoying the shit out of her. And then had a bunch of other people being like, oh no, this game's great, what the fuck you on about? And it's like, no. Don't worry about it. Other people will like what they want. And that's fine. It doesn't have to match up with shit that you like, or vice versa. Like, it's nice if it maybe does, because then it gives you, you know, something you can maybe talk about with someone. But otherwise, it's just like, no, who cares? Just... I feel like that one just kind of more so threw me off, because it's like, why? That's not an issue. Not, or more so like, not an issue, not something you should worry about. And if people are giving you shit about like not liking something specific, then they can go fuck themselves. Also keep flipping through these because I'm like staring at blank screen basically. There's a part of me that's realizing I probably should have some form of like a chatting only screen or whatever. But I also don't know what the fuck I would put in the background for that type of thing. Just because I feel like the default background I have for other stuff, which is the like ink splatters background or whatever, probably wouldn't be as nice to look at, so to speak, if it's just like, you know, sitting here talking. We're sitting here talking rather while like not actually playing something, if that makes more sense. And then this one does work, you know, at least if it's like I'm willing to show on screen what the fuck I'm doing. Which, you know what, I should probably just do this right now while I keep staring at it. Again, we go lazy mode with these. As long as you can tell what it is, at least. This one might be a little weirder though. Yeah, cause that's like almost just filling up that like space. We'll just save that anyway. So done. Also, Brain is inclined to just typo it, because why not? Yeah, we'll just look at this for the rest of the shit. At least it's not a blank canvas anymore. Actually, guys, this also should have this copy of it saved too. Just so that I'm not looking through at a later date, like, I'm pretty sure I made an Until Dawn thumbnail. Where the fuck did it go to? And be like, oh, I only saved it as a PSD. I didn't actually save it in a format that I can throw onto, like, YouTube and stuff. But, yeah, I think I might use something else for this, though. Maybe. Actually, I might be able to put that a little smaller, just so that's more in the thumbnail. Hold on, actually. Let's see if I can do that right now. See, that's the other thing I think with a border, at least with the way I do it, is that if you happen to crop a picture or like resize it to something lower than 720p basically, you can do so and get away with it because the border will make up for the space that you lost on the actual picture. Like if I do that, it's missing stuff, or it's got like a bunch of blank space. Add the border and it's like, nah, it's fine. Don't worry about it. It's all good. Actually though, yeah, that's probably better, just because the skull / hourglass is more in the image at that point. I still wish though for this one, I would rather have an image that has Kiryu and Yuji together, but I can't, like I can find it, but I can't find it in a size that doesn't require me to like make this lower than 720. Because I generally don't want to make a thumbnail smaller than that if I do not have to. Yeah. And actually, yeah, because part of the reason for that being, you know, you have to adjust the border, and then you have to be like, okay, well the border is 40 pixels at this. What does that scale down to? So that you have to redo it. Just because I did notice, one thing I did notice is sometimes if you try to rescale it, this way. Oh, the pop-up doesn't show up, but I have a pop-up right now that's letting me resize the image. Like, that sometimes can work, but I notice sometimes it'll actually break the, what do you call it? The layer that has the border on it, so that it has, like, a pixel or two of white space, like, say, on one of the sides. So that you basically do have to redo the whole thing. Or redo most of it. And yeah, it's just like, I would rather keep it at a size where at least it's like I know exactly what I need to work with. And let's put it. I think that's also part of why I don't do the whole test and compare thing. Just because it's like, most times for me, it's like, if I get one thumbnail done, I'm usually just like, yeah, it's fine enough, I don't give a shit. I could maybe see it in the future. I was gonna say, maybe some point in the future it might be helpful. More so if like making non-stream content, so like not a stream and not a stream clip, but like something that's actually like specifically recorded and posted only to YouTube type of thing. Like in that case, it might be helpful to like have multiples, but otherwise I'm just kind of like, eh. Just trying to do the one is like, yeah, I think I'm good. Especially too, that it will be times where in my head at least I'll be like, I'll have a specific idea in mind for a thumbnail, and it's basically like, there's no point in a test and compare because this is literally the only one that I want to use for this. Regardless of if it's actually like good or not, so to speak. Because I think the, like, for the stream that's right now, like obviously on Twitch it wouldn't matter, thumbnail, but on the thumbnail for it on YouTube right now, like the only thing I can think of that I would switch on that is maybe part of the background. To switch it to like either a background that I use normally, or switch it to like a solid color or something. Because the background that is on it right now is basically the other half of the picture that was like used. Because like the base image is just like a table and then like a slightly blurry background, and all I did was just cut out the table so that it's like I don't have to worry about accidentally fucking it up. And then I just played around with the background part of it, just like, oh, add this and this and this, and just, okay, that's fine, I guess. And then also threw in like the 3 model variants with different expressions. So I realized afterwards 2 of them have like slightly similar ones, where it's like compared to at least the bunny, where the bunny is like very clearly angry. Also reminds me I should probably try to like do more model variations, but that requires thinking of what the hell to use. Because the only other model variation I have right now, outside of the 3 that are like in the thumbnail, is a Christmas one. And the Christmas one, the headpiece I was using with it at least, I do not believe it can be actually brought into the program that I was using to take the pictures of the other models. just because of the fact that it's a live 2D asset rather than one that's actually meant for 3D models. So like I can use it with my tracking software, no problem, but if I want to have it in an actual picture, not so much. And then, yeah. That, yeah. I think the other thing too is just kind of like, what the fuck would I use as other variants? Because like I do have a actual like outfit redesign I'm working on, but that's kind of different compared to like an alternate version, so to speak. Actually reminds me, I don't remember if VWord actually has a thing where you can give a model cat ears. I knew it had bunny ears because I had accidentally seen it while I was trying to do the variants that has like the sunglasses and suit. And it's just like, oh yeah, bunny ears. That's easy, just like make bunny girl outfit done. And I know that Vroid has a few outfits that are at least kind of interesting, like default outfits rather. And there's some variants I can think of that probably wouldn't be like too hard to make. Like if I wanted to like have a specifically casual looking one, I could probably do that pretty quickly. I think for something like a casual one, the main thing would be just like, what the fuck would I want on like a shirt design type of thing, where it doesn't look too weird with how the model is. Also reminds me though, like, as much as there's a part of me that's like, oh, maybe work on model related stuff on stream, it's like, yeah, it sounds like a good way to probably get fucking temporarily banned on Twitch. Just because of the fact that it's like, you know, decided to hold VTubers to the same standards as like normal people. So there'd be probably some point where it'd be like the model accidentally has like nothing on while you're working on it. And it'd just be like, yep, okay, well, bye. Which is unfortunate, but yeah. Also means realistically, if I was to like ever start trying to do like other models, not even related to this one, wouldn't even be able to work on that type of stuff either. For the same reason, where it's just like, yeah, if you accidentally have the model with nothing on, Twitch will probably pick up on it and be like, yep, well, you're temp banned for like a day or two or some shit. Just because I know that that's one thing I've been kind of considering. Or I guess realistically I could work on it, quote unquote, but it basically would be like you wouldn't be able to see it. Or I wouldn't be able to see it until like a point where I specifically just put it on screen. But yeah. I think the more so, the main thing is probably just like trying to get the outfit redesign on this one done first before considering like other model nonsense. Unless it's like, you know, find an outfit where it's like, yeah, you might as well just slap that on or and use it, or a really like simple enough thing that I could do. Where it's just like, yeah, here we go. Put that on model, done. Yeah. It doesn't help though that like one of the things that's like kind of making it hard-ish to do a redesign, so to speak, is it's just like, what the fuck idea do I actually want to go with? So I have like a bunch, like I have like a bunch of general ideas, and I have like a base idea, I guess, kind of like set in stone. It's just kind of like, what the fuck do I want to do with that after though? I guess it's a plus side though, where it's like, you know, if you designed your own model, at least it's like, yeah, if I want to switch the outfit on this thing at any point, I can do so, not particularly like without much trouble or whatever. Doubly so, I guess, too, if you know like what the fuck you're kind of doing. You can actually like put it all together properly. I also like how actually Vroid has become like not super jank, because I remember when I started on this model, it was back in like 2020, I think. That sounds right. I think it was like close to July 2020. And because Vroid was only like in its like kind of beta version at that point, it was like some absolute shit to work with. There's like still some things where you might have a hard time initially with them, but once you kind of get used to it, it's like, oh, okay, whatever. But then like there's also a bunch of options that they've added to make certain things easier. So if you want, especially something like bunny ears, for example, it's like, yeah, here you go, you can literally just have the fucking ears. The only thing you have to really do is, you know, adjust like how you want them placed, adjust the colors, etc. Which is like, yeah, I expect to probably have to do that. And I know for outfit stuff, that was also kind of like made a bit better. Also, the way that Vroid models used to look, like their default look, so to speak, is just like, oh god, what the fuck? The only reason why I remembered about that because when I would have started VTubing, the model I was using, the version of the model I was using, rather, had like the older default Vroid look, and just having to like look through the video that this is from, this screenshot here, it's just like, you know, if you look at how the model looked then and then how it looks now, it's just like, oh my god. Even if it's like, you know, maybe didn't put in like the biggest amount of effort to like switch it, it's still like a pretty fucking big difference. Because at least this one, it's like, it looks pretty tolerable, at least to me. There's maybe like the odd thing here or there, where it's like I could probably make it look a bit better, slash... I'm trying to think of what the like right word would be, but there's like a couple of things with this model where I feel like they could be made just ever so slightly better. It's just kind of like trying to figure out how to go about doing that. Or actually, yeah, like both combination of how to go about doing it, but also doing it in a way that it doesn't end up then making the model like look fucking weird as shit. Because other than that, basically the base model of this is about as done as it's getting. And I probably, like, the only thing I could think of base model wise that I'd ever change outright is like maybe adding a different color into the hair at some spots. But otherwise, it's just like, no, this is literally the base model. It is, outside of some minor adjustments, this is basically what it's going to be looking like. At least in terms of like the Vroid model. Just trying to see something. But yeah. The only thing would be, like I said, making like variants basically of it, which would just be switching outfit stuff. And then, yeah, outside of that, it's like, no man, don't need to do anything with this, it's fine. Because the only other thing I can think of is maybe at some point, part of it was requiring me to actually like get better at drawing shit, like outright, instead of just having to do like, you know, the odd thing here and there, like making the eye texture, making a hair texture, etc., which are like a lot easier than trying to like draw a whole ass model by hand type of thing. Because the only other thing would be like, you know, maybe learning Live 2D and then just switching this from 3D to 2D type of thing. But even that is kind of like, do I really want to do that at some point? No. Especially when you can kind of get a 3D model to look somewhat similar to Live 2D ones anyway, and vice versa. So, just on that basis, it's also like, is it really worth my time to do that? Also, it's supposed to be like, is this actually capturing my mouse? It is. Also, fucking Christ, it really is like bullshit right there in here. 3 fans running and it's still like, let's not just that one. But yeah, trying to think. Actually, I guess one thing, you know, would be like a subtle reminder, like if you want to actually have a say on what the fuck is played starting Saturday, there is a poll on my YouTube channel right now that you can go vote on, where right now Yakuza Kiwami 2 is leading by, I'm presuming, by 1 vote based on the amount of votes and percentages. I might actually go and post this YouTube, like a link to this YouTube post on at least one of Twitter or Blue Sky later. As much as it's gonna feel fucking weird to do it, it's like, might as well make like a last minute, I guess, attempt at getting it further out. In a sense, I don't know how else to phrase that. But yeah. Granted, to be fair, even if I do that, I'm expecting probably at this point not a whole lot is going to change on it. So there's a part of me that's just kind of like I should just gear up to play X if you want me to. Oh yeah, shit, I hit the wrong tab, there we go. Hit wrong tab, but it's like, you know what, we saved ourselves because I didn't look at the thing that I was like, don't look at that. um, yeah, what else is there? Aside from the fact that it's like, you know, very obviously no at this point, I have like a bunch of fucking clips I really should just sit down and cut out properly. Though it's kind of unfortunate because that was actually part of what I was considering doing this stream, but then it's like with how hot it is right now, I will probably have 0% of the like attention slash concentration required to actually sit there, look at Premiere, cut through like a bunch of video, and so on. And then the other thing being like, I probably wouldn't actually have it on screen, especially since the fact that I definitely wouldn't have the audio playing through where you could hear it. And then also having to deal with the fact that it's like trying to talk while also hearing your own voice, which having done that for a decent amount of time at a point, it's like it's not particularly easy. It's even worse. I would argue it's even worse if what you were hearing yourself say is not what you're literally just saying in the moment. Just because there was a point where when I wasn't like as sure if my audio settings were like kind of adjusted well, I would have it so that OBS would actually just play back whatever it's getting through my microphone. And it's like, okay, this is good to tell, like, you know, if people can probably actually hear me. But on the flip side, it also makes it slightly more tedious to talk because if you start paying too much attention to it, at least for me, it just kind of sidetracks you. So that, you know, you could be on like a whole train of thought and then just by accidentally listening to the monitoring playback, even for just like a couple seconds too long, you could just completely lose it, or you'll take like a significantly longer pause in between things just because you have to be like, shit, what was I saying? So then, you know, if you're editing something and it's something you're talking in while you are also talking to yourself, where the two are not going to be the same thing at all, it's just like, shit. I noticed that the last time when trying to edit videos on stream, it was just like, this is kind of fucking weird. But, yeah. And then, yeah, there was a point though, thankfully, where I got used to seeing like OBS's little volume meter, just like, okay, well, if that is like very clearly showing activity at the time that I am talking, then at the very least I can like tell that it's picking up my voice. It's just a kind of the only thing ends up being like, is my voice louder, the same, or quieter as like everything else that's going on right now, type of thing. Which right now it should be a lot louder, probably, because I can see it spiking into like the yellow zone. Whereas I know when I checked earlier, music wise, it was like towards the lower end of the green portion of it. So it's like, yeah, it should be fine. The only downside is when I go to hit the button to mute myself and then inadvertently don't unmute myself, which has happened at least twice already this stream. That's when it's like, oh yeah, shit, no one's heard anything I just said in like the last like 2-3 minutes, rip. Also, it kind of sucks too when you have something muted. Whether that thing muted is yourself, the game you're playing, or like something else that you like want playing on stream. Which, yeah, I think I mostly just remember that because of the freaking one of the Pokemon Legends Arceus streams where somehow I forgot to unmute my Elgato. Oh wait, no, it wasn't that I forgot to unmute my Elgato. It was unmuted. Because I was thinking in my head like, wait, if it was unmuted, I shouldn't have been able to hear it myself. Because I usually have it so that if I want to hear like stuff through the Elgato, it's going through like OBS's monitoring thing. And this was an instance where it's like I can very clearly hear it, so on my end it was fine. But what it was is that if you have like OBS open, you can tell it what track or tracks to send a specific audio feed to. And this was back before I had set up kind of like all the tracks that I needed for recording stuff. So I had a point where I had the Elgato deselected for what is used for stream, and then because I forgot to reset that, it basically resulted in Elgato noise not coming through. So it's just like, to me, it's fine. But then, you know, anyone watching it, it's just like, no, I can't hear anything. I can only hear you talking, that's it. Which is like, that sucks. Thankfully, Pokemon Legends Arceus, there's not a whole lot that I'd argue happened during that playthrough anyway, so it's the one time where it's like, you know what, it got fucked, but it's a game where it's like, it doesn't really matter. Especially since it was one of those games where it's just like, I feel bad saying this, but it's basically a game where it's like, kind of had to push myself to finish it. If only just because I feel like if you're going to stream a game, and I know not everyone does this, and it's fine, people can do whatever they think is best for themselves. But for me, it's like if I'm gonna start a game on stream, like unless it is basically like super difficult for me to actually finish in terms of like actual can't really play through the whole thing, then I'd rather at least have, if it's something that's like Legends Arceus, which has like the main story and then like post-game stuff, I'd want it so that at least all the main story stuff in those instances is like completely done. Which, yeah. Because otherwise, if I didn't do that, I can think of at least 2 to 3 games where I would not have finished them on stream. It just sort of been like, yeah, okay, I'm done with this. And yeah, Legends Arceus was one of those games for me. I think right now the only thing I have done on stream where I have not finished it is Bravely Default 2. And it's been so long since whenever the first stream of that was, where I would actually have to just go back and restart the whole thing. It's just because it's like, for me at least, if I go too long without playing a game, and then I try to go back to it, it's like I will usually just be like, yeah, okay, I need to restart this because I don't remember what the fuck was going on, usually. And I definitely know that for Bravely Default 2, it is literally in that position at this point. I don't really remember like much of what the hell I went through in it, so it's like, yeah, I might as well just restart it. If I was to actually like try to stream it again at least. But yeah, there's a part of me that kind of also looks at it like, yeah, I probably wouldn't. But yeah, I think it's just mostly though to me, I feel bad-ish if I don't finish a game on stream that I started on it at least. I think in part just because, especially where usually if it's something long enough, I will actually put it into its like own playlist. So you know, if you're going through a playlist for a specific game's playthrough, and then you realize the person never finished it, it's like, well, shit. So, yeah. Just, I think, yeah, just on that basis alone, it's usually just like, I would like to at least have main story stuff for most things started, like completely done on stream. In terms of like post-game content or like DLC stuff, that's more like, okay, I don't care as much. Because right now, if I actually did, then Legends Arceus, I'd have to go back to. And Pokemon Violet, one of its DLCs I had actually started off stream, so I would have to actually probably just make a whole new file at that point and then get back to whenever you can start that DLC to do it on that one. And then the other DLC, the Indigo Disc, I think it's called in English, that one I know I did not start. So that one is like, if I was really inclined, I could actually just do that on stream. But it's also like, I'm not, I don't actually care to a whole lot. Which, now that I'm thinking about it too, it's like, both of those are Pokemon games where I think it was like after Sword and Shield, not Sword and Shield's DLC, but like when the main games came out. I just kind of was like, I don't know if I'm really like vibing with Pokemon shit anymore. Sword and Shield is actually fine to me, like to the point where I actually probably wouldn't mind revisiting that one specifically at some point. Though I didn't finish either of the DLCs for it, so that's a thing, I guess. The main story, though, was fine. But I think that also kind of lends into like the same reason why I didn't like go through all of Bravely Default 2. I just feel like games that are like, it's like a super fantasy-ish world as of late, I'm just kind of like, I don't think I care enough for this right now to like play through them type of thing. Just I feel it's kind of like one of those things where it feels like I played too many of them when I was younger, where just now I'm like, eh, compared to if you hand me something like like a Dragon 8 type of thing, where it's like, okay, this I will deal with because the setting is like not actually that type of setting of like a fantasy world that's like disconnected, and so on and so forth. It's like, no, it's basically just happening in like normal ass everyday like world, in a normal ass everyday type of world, where just the protagonist just happens to have a overly overactive imagination, where it's just like, yeah, I'm gonna just assume every fight is like a JRPG fight from Dragon Quest, and that's how it works. Which I, yeah, like if it's something like that where it's like just more modern, ishy type of setting, and it happens to also be like a JRPG, it's like, okay, yeah, that I will probably sit through. But for most games of that type, though, they usually are just like, alright, here's some place in the middle of fucking nowhere, have fun. And it's just like, okay. And then I guess Pokemon ends up being like kind of hit or miss with that. Because there are some of them. I want to say like Black and White would probably be an example of one where it is a more modern type setting outside of like a few uh, cities and towns here and there. Whereas then you go to like Legends Arceus, where since it's taking place in the fucking past, it's just no, no thank you. I'll pass. Or pass on like doing any more of it at least. But yeah. Also shit. And my nails are like super dwarfed right now, so I have to cut them later so that it's just not like, yeah, here's like one long nail and then one that's like fairly short. Just have it so they're all even. Have them so they're all even, let them grow out again for like another month or two, and then cut them again. I say month or two, I actually don't think it was a month. Actually, yeah, no mind, it has actually been a month since I would have cut them. No mind. So I would have done it before graduation stuff last month. Which is like maybe a few days over a month. Plus, you know, having long-ish nails, hot temperature also doesn't particularly help. Especially if you starts getting things like under your nails, so it's even more annoying. What do I want to switch this to? Okay. Probably just go through the rest of this album and then maybe call it there. So I'm trying to think of like what else to really mention. And it's like, ah, shit. Especially since, yeah, at this point with what the temperature is in this room right now, I am not working on anything else. I definitely know that. I wish that wasn't the case, but it's like, yeah, no. I am dying, so just on that basis alone, it's like, probably should end stuff now, but I'm like, give it a little bit longer, I guess, whatever. Though I guess realistically, if you go by what some have noted, I don't think 2.5 hours is really enough for Twitch to really care to be like, yeah, here, we'll push your shit or whatever to other people. And I would mention YouTube's case, but YouTube is just kind of like, I feel like YouTube's just hit or miss at this point on how it decides it wants to recommend things, because like I do know I have mentioned this before, but I do not know how the fuck the Little Kitty Big City stream has gotten the amount of views it has. Like, it's enough where it actually like kind of borked analytics for like, 'cause one thing it'll tell you in YouTube Studio, at least, is it'll tell you what your average view count is for like most months, and it'll also tell you what your average watch time is for most months. And right now, because of that one stream getting like a fuck ton of views, the view count one is like super off. It's just like, oh yeah, you usually get like about 100 something, and you're at like this right now, and it's like, oh shit. Because the only other thing that tends to throw it off is YouTube Shorts, and YouTube Shorts are also weirdly hit or miss. Because I know I had a point where earlier in the year I had them lined up so that I would have one like each week, and those were maybe getting like 100-ish each at most, and then just randomly drop one of a shitpost that I had recorded while I was trying to make sure that my GPU was like working fine, and it's like, yeah, he's like 400 something. It's like, oh, okay. I guess. But yeah, when it comes to streams though, it's like usually it's low double digits at best, unless it is Splatoon 3. I know Splatoon 3 stuff usually gets towards like 100 something, especially if it is a special event type of thing. I know too, when the Splatoon 1 servers were dying and I did a thing for that, that also had gotten a fair bit of views or whatever, but basically outside of that, it's like generally low double digits at most. So then, you know, just looking through and it's like, yeah, here's one that's like way outperforming. And I feel like it's even worse when... Actually, I can scroll down to find it. There we go. That's comments. I need the analytics. Thank you. But like one of the things too is it'll tell you how it's recommended something, and half of the things that this seems to get recommended by, the Little Kitty Big City one, are just like, I don't even know how the fuck these two things correlate. At least if it was being recommended with other Little Kitty Big City videos, really, it'd be like, sure. But this is just like, no. We've thrown it on entirely unrelated shit. And I'm like, what are you doing, YouTube? What are you smoking over there? Why do you think this is a good idea? But yeah, I think that has been... I think that's been the biggest throw off, is that one. I just like... Yeah. I feel like the only way it might have made like a bit more sense to me is if it was a game where people were looking for it, but not a whole lot of people actually streamed it. But from what I can see, I'd say like between when Little Kitty Big City got released and now, a fair few people have actually streamed this shit or posted like something for it. So it's just, yeah, I don't know what the fuck. You can sit there forever as like an eternal outlier for all my stuff. There's a part of me too that's like, maybe I should like edit and post like the stuff from when I was trying to like get the 100% completion done. But then it's like, no, I don't think there's actually anything like super interesting in that. So there's enough there where it's like, you know, if I need background footage, for something, I have more than enough from that one game where I could use it easily. But I don't think it's worth like actually editing and putting up on its own. Also reminds me, there's like other shit I actually want to try to get the last of their achievements for. Like right now I'm only missing 9 achievements. Yeah, 9. No. That is not 9, that is 11. I can't count apparently. My brain is melting from the heat. But there's 11 achievements missing for Control right now. From what I have, at least. And there's a few of them that are like super close to actually being completed. And 2 of them also are achievements for just fighting optional bosses. Which both of those wouldn't be that hard to do. But yeah, with how little there's left, it's like I probably should at some point sit down and get the last 11 of those. Just to be like, oh look, I got another fucking 100%ed game. That means like nothing to anyone except for me. I think it's also just in part because of the fact that right now, most of the games, at least on Steam, that I have with 100% completed are visual novels. So it's just like, maybe if we could balance that out with some not visual novel shit, that'd be great. Because I think Parasocial and Little Kitty Big City right now are the only 2 that are not visual novels. Actually, does this let me sort? Oh, maybe I can find it this way. Perfect. Yeah, it's only Little Kitty Big City and Parasocial that are 100%ed and are not visual novels. And actually, even then, I don't know. I feel like you could go hit or miss with Parasocial because of how kind of simplistic-ish it is in parts. And also the fact that it literally only has like 5 fucking achievements, so... As long as you have an idea of what you need to do, to like get them, it's not really that hard to do. And I think most games from Chili's Art have like very few achievements. So most of them would be like you can probably 100% them fairly easily if you know what you're doing. It's also, what's it called? Not on Steam, but on PS4. Still only have like one thing left to do to 100% like Dragon Gaiden. And I've still not gone back and done it. Just because I'm like, fuck that fight with Amon. It's like, because you get past the first two phases of it, and it's like, okay, it's slightly annoying, but it's fine. But once you get to the final phase, like, at least for me, it's just like, okay, nah, this ain't happening, I think. Or at the very least, I'd have to get better at like playing the games where it's Kiryu that you have to control only, rather than like the RPG type of ones. Because I feel like those would be the only one. I feel like the RPG ones are the only other ones I could 100%. And the main thing that would be stopping that is more so just because of how kind of grindy some of the achievements are. Like, I know that there's one for 8, where it's literally you have to get Ichiban to level 70. And I think there was another one that was also, like, somewhat, like, you have to get them to, like, something really high, either, I think it was with, classes, specifically. I guess, yeah, and then also there was the ones for completing, the two, like, bonus dungeons, the non-DLC ones, where those two also would require you to grind a fair bit, because you have to be, like, level 55 or so to even challenge them. And chances are you will probably be at about level 55 at best when you're actually finishing the game. Unless you are spending a lot of time grinding or doing a lot of like side questing. What's it called? If you're doing like a lot of side questing before getting to like the final boss. But yeah. So I think right now for PS4 shit, I have nothing 100%ed. Gaiden is probably like the closest, followed by like a Dragon 8 and then 7 as well. And then everything else is just like it. But yeah. What the hell? But yeah, let me see something. I think they are still doing shit. They are. Helps if I don't have the audio like autoplay. Thank you. So am I high? Is it just because of the Oh, never mind, it's right there. Okay, yeah, it is because of my Windows settings. I was like, I can't see the actual like chat thingy for this person. And then it's like, oh, it's because my window's too small. Should probably actually have it in the other one then. Yeah, okay, now I can see it, no problem. Um, hmm. Oh, Jesus Christ. Okay. This is very awkward when you go to the front page of Twitch and like practically every fucking person in the recommended channels is like, yeah, they're playing Elden Ring. Because there's a friend of mine also playing it right now on stream. I don't know if he's actually talking though, or if he's just playing it. But yeah, I find that funny. It was just like, yeah, he's a bunch of Elden Ring players. Actually, there's someone else that I follow on Twitch too that's also playing it, and then you got two other people, two other people live where one is also in just chatting like I am, and then one of them is playing like a Dragon 8. So I think the one that's playing I think the one that's playing like Dragon 8 is currently doing New Game Plus stuff. But yeah. So it's gonna be like, why don't I try to raid someone for once? I'll just raid like the friend that's currently live. Though it does also make it awkward because for people on YouTube, I'd have to just link the channel. Whereas Twitch, it's just like, yeah, if you're here right now, you'd basically be following me over. If it actually lets me do it. Is there a way to actually set it? I think so. Try that in a second. Mostly just so I can actually get like end of stream stuff done first. Before potentially sending you off to one of many people playing Elden Ring. It's like I said, assuming Twitch lets me do it. Yeah. To be like, did I accidentally make my music quieter by accident? But I might not have. It might just be the one song. But yeah, I guess long story short, probably gonna end it there for now. For those who want to have a say in what the fuck is started on Saturday, there is a poll still on my YouTube channel that is still active, and I do believe I had said specifically on Monday that it's basically whatever on Friday night / Saturday morning has the most votes. I'll probably go by Saturday morning, and by Saturday morning I really just mean when I wake up on Saturday. Just because at least that way it's like, okay, I know what I have to like get set up for later in the same night. Whereas I feel like if I go by Friday night, I might cut it off too early, if that makes sense. So it might not make a huge difference overall. But regardless, what's it called? Yeah, regardless though, next stream will be Saturday at 11 p.m. Atlantic as per usual. It will be one of either Until Dawn or Yakuza Kiwami 2. Really depends on what has the most votes. Yeah, I think I'll go by Saturday morning. And again, by Saturday morning, basically when I wake up on Saturday. So I say Saturday morning, but it could easily be like, you know, noon or like 1 p.m. on Saturday as a result. But yeah, it will be, yeah, like I said, it'll be one of Until Dawn or Yakuza Kiwami 2. Whichever one doesn't win the poll will be what's next after it. So like, if it stays like as it is right now, it'll be Yakuza Kiwami 2 started on Saturday, and then once that's done, I would be going to Until Dawn, and then vice versa if Until Dawn somehow manages to get enough votes within the next like little over a day, then it would be starting that and then moving to Yakuza Kiwami 2. The only way I could see myself like not keeping to that is if there is some sort of issue PC-wise that kind of restricts me from being able to actually do Yakuza Kiwami 2. Which really the only thing I can think of right now would be like if my PC can't really keep itself like cooled down decently. But I also don't think like a day or two of having to deal with that will be like the biggest issue. So I probably won't have to actually like inadvertently switch off to one or the other type of thing. But yeah. Let me see. Oh, that's awkward. So someone follows you on the site and they're like, I'm like, you're probably about to follow someone whose shit you don't really want to see, but question mark. I guess we'll find out. Actually, you know what? Before I do this, I will actually ask. Just so I don't inadvertently also do the thing that I know I've seen other people do, where they go to raid into someone, and then the person's like, I'm about to end stream, what the fuck? I always feel like that's like super awkward for like really both parties, but especially the one that's getting the raid. See if they actually reply to me. And before they don't, so I'm just gonna like send over anyway, and then basically take a gamble. Yeah, you know what? Fuck it, why not? So people on YouTube, I will have to actually put a link in the odd case that anyone is there, where you can go. Actually, let me see. Just make sure I actually have decent like ending music or something. Oh, target channel has disabled raids. Well, that's even worse. See, now I can just post the link in both chats and be like, here, go here if you'd like to watch someone playing Elden Ring. Because that's who I was going to try to raid into, but he does not have raids active, GG. Which I need to probably inform him of. Either that or he did it intentionally. No. But yeah. I will be back Saturday though, normal time, 11 PM Atlantic, as I said. There is a poll on my YouTube channel right now. If you'd like to go vote, whatever has the most votes. When I wake up on Saturday, will be started next. At the current time, that looks to be Yakuza Kiwami 2. That could change. But yeah. Until then though, well, one, if you'd like to, basically, I guess, go off to another channel, you can go to the one I linked if that is anything of interest, especially if you want to watch someone playing Elden Ring, like I mentioned. And, yeah, aside of that though, let's see if I have this on. Let's see if I have this on and my tracking doesn't break, but anyway. Haha. Hands. But, yeah, so until Saturday, thank you for watching and bye bye for now. Haha.